So this, my friends, is the Alloy B-Bomb 2019. Got some time on this last year in full camber, and this year it seems to be tweaked to a more, slightly more forgiving, a little more floaty, a little more, just basically the keyword's forgiving, just because there's a little rise in the nose and tail. But it still has those aggressive, damp, mountain freestyle properties that the old one does. It's just not as catchy. So that's kind of cool. You can see it's just a true twin, centered stance. And it's got kind of like an interesting side cut. You can see kind of like the mellowest disruption, kind of this super mellow mag going throughout it that really helps improve the edge hold, especially in harder snow. While not grabbing too much in soft snow. So I think that's kind of cool. And I love those slight disruptions that kind of just make everything grip a little better in those situations where you come from good snow to hard snow. As far as the camber profile goes, I talked about it briefly, but you can see it's not the B-Bomb of old that was just like last year. This thing was like tip to tail camber, and now it's kind of like camber coming down to about the bindings to a little flat, and then back up to just a touch of early rise. And you can see when I weight it down, you can see how it rises up on the sides. But that's pretty cool. It's forgiving, little extra float for a twin. It's still no outcome or a mountain ride, but if you're somebody who just likes to keep it centered, this is going to be a lot better than your average camber board, but maybe not quite as good as some boards with longer noses and tails, a little more rocker, a little more powder oriented twins, but it's still very good compared to what it was before. So let's talk about stance width. We're just going to do with traditional disc bindings. You're looking at just about 20.5 all the way in. Getting all the way out, you're looking at about 25.25. Now, if you want to talk about, how this is going to fit, your boot, footprint, you can compare your boot footprint to this and kind of see, but we're trying to do this on everything moving forward. But this looks like about 27.4 millimeters, maybe 27.5. It's so tough with, the millimeter thing, but, and this looks like about 26.5, 26.4. All the way in here on the first insert pack, you're looking at about 26.3 or 4. And then all the way down, you're looking at about, I'd say like 27.2, somewhere around there. So you've got that going on. Now, this is a true twin. You want to ride this centered. You really don't want to set it back. But let's just say you got like a massively deep day and you want to set this back a little bit just to get a little extra bit of directional float. Well, you're not going to get much. At 22.75 all the way back on a board with a traditional disc binding, you're looking at a 2.25 inch difference between the nose to the last insert and the tail, or not the last insert, but the setback in the most setback insert pack on the front foot to the most insert pack, to the furthest back insert pack on the back foot. That's too wordy, but you know what I mean. You're looking at 2.25 inches, and then divide it in half to get the true setback on board from center. You're only looking at 1.125 inches back on board. So you're just kind of going like from here to here. You're not really getting a super directional setback feel there. So that's why a lot of people get bummed sometimes when they have twins in powder. They think it's an all mountain ride and it does amazing in the mountain, just like many other boards their friends have. And then on that powder day when they all set it back and you can't, that's a real bummer. But if you're a really good rider and you understand how to keep going in powder, with kind of any board, like a lot of my friends can. I still prefer to set it back, but some really just love that twin feel because they like riding switch as much as they like riding regular. They do a lot more in powder than I do. They see it in a much different way. They love boards like this, so it's all personal preference. This base is great. It's fast. It's got glide, and it's mostly black, so it's easily repairable with normal P-Tex. Then you just got the crazy colors on the tip and tail, kind of just, you know, saying what's what there. But all in all, you know, the B-Bomb is a you know, fun board. I love this hybrid camber profile. I think it's a much more everyman's mountain freestyle ride now, as opposed to before. It was very technical, aggressive kind of ride for the more advanced to expert rider. Now it kind of definitely fits into the intermediate world and allows them a more forgiving ride to try more stuff and do more. But I can still rip in the pipe, hit kickers, and just ride around the mountain with the stiffness and flex of an all mountain board, but take it on like an all mountain freestyle, you know, mountain freestyle ride. So there you have it.